Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back once again to Wheel Takes, a podcast about the Wheel of Time, a series of fantasy novels written by Robert Jordan and completed by Brandon Sanderson. My name is Gus. I've read all of them.
And I'm Allie, and I'm working on it. I have read up to the prologue of book 12?
12.
The Gathering Storm.
That's the one. This
feels like stuff might be happening.
It is, notably...
Is the slog over?
Notably, the last three books are pretty plot-heavy on account of how Brandon got a big old pile of half-written material and notes and was essentially told, start tying things off.
And tying things off he has done. I am pleased with this prologue.
Yeah, we are already tying things off.
I am prologue pleased. I was sitting there and I was like, pop off, Brandon and Robert, because I think he wrote part of the prologue.
Nobody really knows, except the team.
I think that's really smart.
Who wrote exactly what, with some exceptions. There are a couple of parts that Brandon has said, this is essentially 100% RJ.
I think that's so smart of Brandon and the team to not tell anyone.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people will be more thoughtful in their critiques.
Some parts of it are all Brandon, some parts of it are all Robert, some plot lines are all Brandon, some characters are all Brandon, some characters are all Robert. It's a good intermingling. I don't know if you read the... By the way, this podcast contains spoilers for everything Allie's already read, and today that's everything up to and including the end of the prologue, which is called... Of Gathering Storm, which is called What the Storm Means. I don't know if you read, Allie, and we'll talk about a bunch of stuff before we get into the chapter. Well, you know what? Let's start with the cover.
Okay.
This is the Daryl K.
Rand's
Sweet
missing
cover.
his hand. He used to not let me look at the covers, really. And I suppose this is why.
Yeah, I didn't really want you to look at this one.
It's hard to see.
Yeah, it's hard to see on the mass market paperback because Robert is over it.
Which is smart, I think.
I'm pretty sure that... Let me get the hardcover.
Because then it's kind of like blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
There's a booby girl.
Oh, yeah. She has red hair.
With eyelash extensions. With red hair. So what is that, Avienda?
Yes. Yeah,
Avienda's got a nice rack. I'm just saying.
She does in this. Here's the hardcover. You may notice that Rand's hand is gratuitously missing on the hardcover.
Her makeup in the hardcover is tragic. What is going on?
It is actually somehow more detailed.
What is going on
I think it's got something to do with the resolution they printed at.
It's not good makeup. Her eyelashes are so askew. It looks like when you first try to put on falsies and they're just fucking everywhere and you don't know what you're doing. You're practically gluing your eye shut. That's actually kind of a canon event.
Everybody
is gluing
does that
your
at some
eye shut. Well, if you use falsies.
Sure. Yeah. By the way, I've seen an earlier sketch of this cover and you can fully see Rand's stump.
Oh yeah, no, in the hardcover you can fully tell that he is missing a hand, but in the soft cover version,
the mass market paperback,
you can't really because the Robert is covering it.
His chest is so wide and his hips are so narrow.
He's a rather boxy
something.
boy.
Anyway, this...
I'm looking at the rest.
For some
and then
reason,
there's some people staring at him, who I'm assuming are the Shinarans.
If I open this up all the way, the proportions of this house give me hives. I don't know why, but the house just looks so small, and the people look so big.
Yeah. Well, Daryl Sweet's proportions, while he can vista like a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. Listen,
his proportions can be a little...
Here's the thing.
Tragic.
Personally, this is my least favorite Daryl Sweet cover.
Really?
That is my personal opinion.
I think it's fine. Is it just the proportions of the house?
It's the proportions of the house. It's the soldiers on the back.
Now, the thing about the house, the one thing about the house...
It's the fact that there's a gratuitous spoiler on the cover.
Well, yes, that is true. But the thing about the house that strikes me is it has that thing that I talk about, the Sims windows.
Yeah.
Yes. So the thing is that when you play The Sims for the first time as
let me turn that off.
Ooh?
Continue.
Come on, guys. Professionalism.
I'm not professional.
The thing about The Sims is when you first play it and you first design a house when you're young and you don't think about these things, is you design the house from the inside first because that's the most fun, at least in my experience. And you just slap whatever window you think looks good wherever. And then you look at the outside and the house looks ridiculous. It's like the windows are all wrong. Like they're not aligned well. It's just a mess. So you kind of have to design the inside and the outside of the house at the same time because otherwise it's just ridiculous and a mess. And there's some occasions where I will pass a house where I'm like, that's a Sims house. Someone designed that house from the inside out, because those windows, the placement of them, the 700 different kinds of windows, like all of that is just so aesthetically bonkers that it looks like a Sims house, like designed by a 12-year-old.
I hear you there.
And that's what I feel.
Do you want to see the paperback, the trade?
There is some Sims house to that house, I will say.
This is the ebook cover.
I'm so excited.
It's fucking badass, in my opinion. And
it's beautiful. God, I love the ebook covers. It may also
feel like it's got some spoilers in it, but it's the cover of the book, so I'm saying it's fine.
It's fine. It's a Raken.
Yeah, it's a Raken and
fighting somebody in white.
A Raken rider and a woman in white holding a stick.
Holding a rod of some kind. Well, it's a dark-haired woman, so that narrows it to like Egwene / Nynaeve / Moraine, maybe even. But she's in white. Oh, so that's got to be Egwene then.
In novice white?
She's in novice white.
What's she holding?
The oath rod? That would be weird.
It would be weird.
But maybe the oath rod has more features.
Oath rod is also...
Maybe like the oaths are just like an app on it and they don't realize it.
How do they describe the oath rod?
I mean, it's white and long.
Foot long and wrist thick. That looks a little...
Not quite wrist thick. It's a little thin for that. But I'm assuming it's some kind of Angreal.
Probably. That would make sense. You may hear loud noises in the background.
We can't do anything about that.
We can't do anything about that.
It's tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that the theory that Egwene has, that the premonition
the
that
vision,
she had, that the Seanchan are going to attack the White Tower. I mean, what else would they do? There's a bunch of magic women just sitting there. Well, what if they were going
to make peace with the Westlands?
I can't.
Peace with the Seanchan.
I hate the Seanchan so fucking much.
With the Seanchan. Well, now, Allie, do you want to jump into discussing the foreword? Do you want to talk about your bingo sheet first? Where do you want to go next? You want to do bingo first, or do you want to do talk about the foreword? Where do you want to go?
Let's talk bingo sheet.
Bingo sheet first.
Then forward.
So
Then my notes.
I have generated the bingo sheet.
The official bingo sheet.
It will be
of
linked.
My predictions. I kind of wish I had put that I think the White Cloaks are going to attack the White Tower.
You
did.
Oh,
I did. The Seanchan, I meant. The Seanchan. They're all the same. I hate them all.
So here
they're all coming after my women in a way that is not allowed and appropriate.
We're going to read through this top left to right, down to bottom right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is Gathering Storm bingo predictions.
I'm already excited because I've already got some predictions
already have
off
at
my
least one.
thing. Yeah, which is really exciting. This is one I carried forward from last time because I was allowed to carry 2 forward.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. Massima dies, hopefully.
Hey. Banana.
Fayo feels guilty about Roland. I know it's coming. I know Robert Jordan read some shit about Patty Hearst and was like, oh, this will be interesting to explore psychologically. And I'm just going to go, wrong, not this way. I just know it.
Sure.
I just know. And that's okay. Listen, we can disagree. I can disagree with how that's handled. It's okay. It doesn't mean I don't love the books. I do. For anyone who doesn't think I love the books. Messana defeated. I think that's being set up in some way.
Especially if we're getting Seanchan attack White Tower, it seems logical to conclude, right?
Well, yeah, and I think either Egwene, the Seanchan, Elaida, not Elaida, let's be real, but some iteration of those people are going to root her out. And I will find out that Danelle is Messana.
Could be.
Wouldn't that be great?
Not impossible.
Morgay's Talonvor wedding, Allie hates it.
Self-explanatory.
I just know it's coming. I just know we're going to be like, let's tie off that plot line and get Morgay's married because she was rescued by Talonvor. And I'm going to scream for the rest of my life.
Sure.
I hate that man.
Yes.
I hate him so much. I feel like I'm watching my best friend make the mistake of her life walking down the aisle.
Sure.
I'm just going to be like, I will be here for you in the divorce.
Sure. Yeah.
And then we're going to have to have game night with them forever.
That's tough.
Oh, it's so hard when your friend marries someone you hate.
And you know Talonvor...
I'm not talking about any of my specific friends. But,
Talonvor would be a rules lawyer.
What do you mean a rules... Oh,
He would be the kind of guy who picks one weird wording and tries to use it to exploit a loophole that makes the game unfun.
Yes. You know what else he would do? Is he would be that guy who would explain in detail afterwards why he won. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
But like not in a fun way. Like, oh, you know, like it's like, this is how I defeated you.
This is why you all suck.
And you all suck. You know what? There is that guy who just can't help himself.
Is the kind of guy who prioritizes player elimination in a game of Twilight Imperium.
Yes. Where it's like, that is so not the point.
You can do that.
You can do that, but it's not the point of the game. And it makes the game very unfun for that person for 12 hours.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's my feelings about Talonvor. Everyone is surprised that I hate him so. Elida dethroned. I think that's inevitable.
Self-explanatory.
That's coming. We're done with her. Semirog escapes. That's being hinted at.
Well, they
wanted to figure out how to rescue her, and then they said don't.
Moradin says, fuck her. She beefed it.
But I just feel like, is that gonna be the end of that plot line?
What do you think? Maybe. We'll have to read.
So we're just gonna cage a Forsaken? We gotta find some kind of way to do that.
Well,
permanently.
two of them are caged currently. They're just caged by Moradin.
Yeah, but that's different.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna have the ice. Like they had a hard time in the show caging Logain.
They did. That's true.
How are they going to cage a Forsaken?
Good question.
Permanently. I guess they got to find a creative something. Throw them in a pit.
Well, now
throw them in a pit.
They can tie off shields. Now they couldn't tie off shields in season 1.
Yeah, but didn't Rand figure out how to break through those?
It was very hard.
Yeah.
And it was, yeah. It's possible. Anyway,
it's possible. Yeah. I'm just saying we should kill her. Anyway, so Red Aja Bond Bad Ashaman. I feel like that's inevitable.
Seems like, and Bad Ashaman.
Like Master Taim's guys. Because he would be like, this is an opportunity.
What's the like cutesy ABC Family name for Taim's crew? Taim's Tots? No.
Not Scott's Tots.
Not Scott's Tots.
No, that's traumatizing.
Taim's Little Terrors?
Taim's Tykes.
Taim's Tykes.
Taim's Tykes. So they're going to bond some of Taim's Tykes. I'm going to scream at the sky about the fact that Rand has not
set foot in the Black Tower.
Just one meeting a day.
You know, my acting teacher says you can make a whole career out of 15 minutes of work per day.
It's true.
Rand, you can make a whole army of man nukes out of 15 minutes of check-in. Not even a day. I would say a week. Make a couple appearances a week.
Just to remind them who you are. I understand. I feel like I'm the last person to be talking because I will avoid something I don't want to do for the rest of my life.
I delayed getting headshots for years.
Because getting your picture taken is hard.
It's hard.
And it's expensive.
Especially when you have to spend money on it and you think your hair doesn't look quite right.
Because you can't find a barber you like in LA.
Yeah. Anyway.
Which you did.
I did.
It's a process.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. We're still talking somehow. All right. Matt loses an eye. I feel like that's got to come.
Seems kind of sensible.
It's coming. That's the one that's been the most obvious.
You've been saying that forever.
Ever. So Matt loses an eye for sure. I think it's coming soon. And it feels like now's the time. Because he's on the book thinks he's on a high because he's married Tuon, so he's got to come down to earth a little bit. Nynaeve and Maggedion face off.
Seems kind of sensible.
They haven't faced off in a minute.
Not since she sunk the boat.
And I feel like, and Nynaeve lives in her head rent-free. I feel like that's got to come. Especially now that Lan's not around. So Nynaeve is a little more vulnerable than she usually is. Not that Nynaeve needs a man.
No, yeah.
But she's got someone watching her back that's no longer watching her back. You know? We all need people watching our back and caring for us. Gawain attempts Egwene rescue. I feel like Gawain's got to factor in here somewhere.
Seems sensible.
Right? Like, he's got to make a definitive decision at some point between Elida and Egwene. And that feels like that's got to happen. Plus, it's kind of been hinted at because they're like, if Gawain goes down this road, they both die. If Gawain goes down this road, they end up married. Which,
some kind of definitive choice is in the books.
And it was like Gawain either kneels to her or breaks her neck.
Yes. Pretty dramatic.
Very dramatic. And I feel like we need to see some kind of conclusion to that. Tam and Rand reunion. Now that Tam's kind of back on the board, right? Yeah. I feel like that's got to happen
Father,
at some point.
son moment.
Yeah, he's back on the board. He's found out that Rand is the Dragon Reborn. I feel like the next thing you would do in that situation is try to get to your kid, right?
Maybe they can have a catch.
Have a catch, kind of touch base. If anyone can kind of bring Rand to Earth.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, Min is holding him there with everything she has. But, I mean, he's lost a hand. He's having a difficult time. I feel like we need a Tam Rand reunion and a little, like, that's my boy.
I think it would be good for his mental health.
I think we got to get a couple things good for his mental health so he doesn't go too far.
Yeah.
Right? And that would be one of them. Author did research moment. So here's my thing. I feel like because I was trying to figure out, you know, what I don't know Brandon yet. I don't know his writing style. I don't know anything about him.
This is your first Sanderson book, isn't it?
It is my first Sanderson book.
And it's a hybrid Sanderson book.
Yes. And so I don't really know anything about him. So I had to figure out, you know, what do I think he might do? You know, we're getting to the end. I think, you know, because he would probably feel some level of pressure to finish the books and not dally in the world too much.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think plot threads will start getting tied off, for better or worse. But I also was like, you know what I think he will probably copy about Robert Jordan? Because he seems like a researchy kind of guy. We'll get a moment where it's clear they're showing off the research that they've done. Because Robert Jordan does that a lot. He'll be like, here's what I know about blacksmithing as someone who hyperfixated on blacksmithing.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to believe that no writer is neurotypical. Anyway, I just am starting to believe it. Because if you could do anything else, why would you not do that thing?
Why would you be writing?
It's like such a simpler life.
As an artist, why would you do this?
Why would you do this? It's so hard and I love it so much. Yeah. I cannot imagine doing anything else. But like if you could, yeah. Problematic gender dynamics,
free space.
Which is my free space.
Classic.
Because you wouldn't let me make it just a thing on its own. You were like, that's a free space. Rand makes peace with the Seanchan. I'm going to scream.
Yeah.
But it seems like we're 2 for 3. So that's going to happen. And I don't know what they're going to do about the White Tower. I'm assuming it's going to be some kind of thing where it's like you can keep the women you have. And the other ones will be... I'm hoping that it's you've got to free all those women. The pessimist in me is like, it doesn't seem like that is top of mind for anyone for some reason. Like Nynaeve keeps going, this is wrong in the prologue. And Rand's like, you know, it was easy to know right and wrong when I was herding sheep. And I'm like, it's kind of easy to know right and wrong now, actually. Right and wrong is pretty black and white here in this particular instance. Respectfully, I understand that there are nuanced situations. Slavery isn't one of them.
Have we talked about moral relativism and the Seanchan on the podcast yet, or is that only something we've done? I'm
sure we have, but we can do it again.
We can come back to it
later. No. Why not now?
Well, because it's a broader topic. I mean, moral relativism, to my understanding, is the anthropological idea that when you examine the practices... I learned this from Stephen Erickson, author of the Malazan Book of the Fallen. When you examine
This podcast is brought to you.
It's not. No. When you examine a culture and its traditions or behaviors or whatever, one of the things that some anthropologists say is you should separate your own moral, stuff from that of the culture you are examining.
Ethnocentrism has no place in anthropological study.
Yeah. So like if, for instance, you had a society that on the death of somebody in the family cannibalized bits of their brain, for instance.
The worst idea.
Right. In
every way.
From a health perspective.
Prions.
But that's the
prions.
Point. But what I'm saying is, whereas we might ascribe a certain moral status to cannibalism, they may have a different moral framework that they work in that actually treats that as something that is noble or honorable or venerable or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, that's unhealthy. But
don't eat brains.
What I think is interesting about moral relativism with respect to the Seanchan is I think moral relativism leaves and by the way, the question of whether or not you ascribe to moral relativism is another thing entirely. I'm just discussing the topic of moral relativism. I think when you have one culture that is then imposing its morals and value system on another culture,
Fuck them.
Moral relativism goes out the window.
Fuck them.
Because it's no longer moral relativism. It's, okay, well, now you're telling, you're bringing this over to the Westlands.
Because it would be kind of one thing, and it wouldn't be a good thing, but it'd be kind of one thing if they're like, we have these people, this is what our culture does.
Yeah.
They like it, which...
Sure, okay, whatever.
I find hard to believe, but whatever. I think you've just broken and brainwashed them, but whatever. If it was just that and they were not like, and we're going to do this to every woman who can channel on this continent, that would be kind of one thing. I'd be like, well, that's shitty, but maybe none of my business.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's kind of why, I think it's kind of why we often skate by the Aiel selling people into slavery, is because I'm like, it's still, I don't like it. It's not my favorite thing. However, they are not going, currently, they used to, they are not coming into the wetlands, grabbing people and taking them back to sell them as slaves. Are they capturing people who come into the waste? Yeah.
Well, Kyrianans.
But that's also,
they've got beef.
And it was the kind of thing where it was
Well,
kind
I
of
do
known,
think they need to let it go, but...
I'm not saying I'm chill with this. I'm saying when you compare it to what the Seanchan are doing, I am able to apply a certain amount of moral relativism to the discussion.
I mean, it's not chill. It's not good.
Chill.
It's not at all good.
But it's a different thing.
We should stop doing that as well.
Yes.
Just because one thing is bad does not mean another thing is not bad.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, I know.
I'm saying that there's a different framework.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I just think that there are people who are like, well, what about this bad thing? And you're like, that is also bad.
That is a fun, yeah.
Why? That just because one thing is bad does not mean the other thing is not bad. That is bad of the Aiel that they do that.
It is.
They should also stop doing that.
I like pancakes, so you hate waffles.
Yes. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
Both things can be true. Things can be bad that one side does, and then the other side could also be doing bad stuff.
I just wanted to clarify, I think that there is a systemic difference between those two things. I don't like either of them.
I mean, definitely. But yeah, because, I have a problem with both.
Yeah.
But yes, I think there is a conquering mentality to the Seanchan in addition to them enslaving people that I find problematic.
What's the colonialism?
There is a certain extent to which if you are a Kyrianan and you go on the Io waste, you're kind of a dipshit.
Yes.
I mean, it's not chill of them to do it, but that is a little bit of fuck around and find out. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That I'm not chill with. I think they need to let go of the tree thing, but it isn't. It's not quite the same.
No.
It's bad. It's bad, but not the same.
We'll pick up again with the, unless you have more to say about this, we'll jump back to Bingo.
I hate the Seanchan.
Yeah, me too. After these ads. Welcome back. Where were we at? This one.
Okay. Moraine rescue mission is on. We got to do it. We're getting close to the end. She's been gone forever.
She's been gone for, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books now?
I do think they'll truncate those books quite a bit.
In the show?
Yeah, there's stuff you can trim.
I think there's a lot of stuff you can move around.
Yeah, move around, trim. But yeah, I think where's our girl? Where's my girl? I want her back. Tom better be reading that letter aggressively in front of Matt more often.
Well, now he's read it.
But I think
now we can go.
I think Matt loses the eye during that.
That would make sense.
Yeah. I think there's some kind of consequence that happens and he loses an eye to save the world by bringing Moraine back. Because Min has said that Moraine's presence in the last battle is necessary.
Has to be there, yeah.
She has to be there. So Rand and Mazrim face off. That feels inevitable.
Sure.
I mean, we can't be having these magic nukes walking around being bad guys.
It's not great.
No, they're sinister laughing. I don't like the sinister laughing. I don't like when men in a group laugh in a sinister fashion. It's triggering in 45 ways.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Men do not laugh in a sinister fashion in a group. It doesn't make the women around you comfortable. It's a very uncomfy thing to do. I don't like it. Alana dies. That just has to happen.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. That's like Chekhov's gun.
Right.
One of those women in his head has to die at least. And Alana's the one that's most easy to kill. I mean, I still think Elaine dies as well because we've got that whole, oh, you'll be fine while you're pregnant.
Right, there is that.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, horrible things can still happen. Yeah, I think Alana, and I think we got to start killing off people. I just think last 3 books, it's going to be a freaking massacre.
It seems like we would have been leading up to something like that, but does Robert kill characters like ever?
Occasionally. Maybe Brandon is more amenable.
Well, does Massima's fate suggest anything about that?
It does suggest.
God, I love that part so fucking
Oh my
much.
God, it's... Now I don't understand why people hate Fael. I really don't. Well, okay, I do. Because, like...
It's book 4 and 6.
Right now, I'm so sorry. Right now, I've given her a lot of shit over the past few years. I've gone off about her and every character in this book many times. We gotta put on the mask for a second. We gotta... The little bird box. We gotta bird box it for just a second. I understand that she's an abusive spouse. I get it. I get that part. She throws knives and she killed Massima for Perrin. Fael's hot.
Yeah,
That was the hottest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's pretty good.
And it was a murder. Like, oh my God, when she's like, some things a wife has to do for her husband.
Hold on, let me
Because her
find
husband
the-
was... Oh.
Let me
Hello.
find the line exactly. It was, sometimes a wife must do what her husband cannot.
End the book. End the book.
It is a dark thing we did this day, but necessary. Let no one speak of it to my husband. He must never know.
Okay,
And then
that
they
is-
make... Go ahead.
That's unbelievably hot.
It's pretty hot.
Okay, I'm sorry. Like,
Wheel Takes
We talked
podcast
about
does
this.
not support the murdering, but in the book,
but it was a hot
great.
murder. Okay. Like, I'm sorry. Listen, put ourselves out of the normal world for a second. Put ourselves out of the normal world. We're in a fantasy world where the stakes are objectively much higher and like shit's going on, shit's going down, things are happening. 100% would do that for you. 100%. If you needed it. If I knew you needed this man dead, that he is dead.
it's a great section.
He
man.
is over. He is dead. I need more women to show this energy to the women that Brand can't seem to bring himself to kill. We need more of this energy from these women. Yes, and my body was ready.
It was
My
great
body
scene.
was parched.
I love that part
for
so
women
fucking
doing
much, man.
fucking badass shit. It was parched until the Nynaeve and Egwene stuff and Elaine stuff in the very last book. I was like, I needed the girl power is back.
Yeah, girl power's back.
The girl power is back. Somehow we like women again in this series. Like I'm sorry. For a second it went very dark for the women for a minute. Okay, it just did. It just was like, what's happening? Where are they? What are they doing? Why are they all digmatized? Like now, all of a sudden, we've got Fael fucking massacring a group full of shitty fucking dudes who really deserve to die. I'm sorry, they deserve it. They deserve it. That was necessary. We cannot have these sociopaths. Same energy for the Black Tower, please. Like we cannot have these sociopathic men walking around Wilson Nilsson and pretend that that's fine. She did what she needed to do because her husband needed her to do it because he couldn't do it himself. Fuck yeah, Fael. Fuck yeah, that's what I've been wanting to see from you. That was Battle of the Two Rivers, Fael. That is my girl back in action. I needed this. This is not Fael on her bullshit. This was Fael, the woman I knew she could be, the knife-throwing badass who is not hung up on some woman flirting with her husband because she knows that what she and Perrin have is fucking real and nothing can threaten that. Mm-hmm. Nothing can threaten that. This is love, man. This is love.
I think, here's the thing. We give pretty much every character in the series at least one free pass to do something fucking shit and stupid, right?
Yeah.
For Fael and Perrin, kind of both, it's everything that happens in the ways in book 4. That
never happened.
That never happened. For Elaine, it's when she victim blames Matt.
Honestly,
For Egwene, it's the thing in book 5 with the Tel'air and Riyadh, and for Rand, it's about 50 different things. I'm kidding. But everybody gets their one.
They have a moment. They have a moment where we're like, you know what? We're just going to pretend that never happened.
Yeah.
Honestly, with Bearlane, it's her entire plot line. I'm just going to pretend.
It's everything from book 6 to book 9.
That it never happened because
And a little bit of book 4.
Because I want to like these people. They're doing really good shit. And like
2-1 though.
No, I'll fuck 2-1.
Different. Different
well,
thing.
2-1 has not made any efforts to win me over. What has she done that could possibly win me over? Name one thing that was like, oh yeah,
She saved Matt's life the once.
That's kind of the bare minimum.
Because he didn't want to kill a woman.
That is kind of the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And this is different. That's kind of the bare minimum. Like, yeah, I would hope that if you are interested in somebody, you would try to save their life if it happened.
We can talk about 2-1 when she eventually shows up again. I want to bog us down in 2-1 land.
No, I'm just going to constantly talk about how much I hate her. But so here's the thing. When we're going to talk about this, but Fail, this is what I love about her. This is the lovable part of Fail, is Fail understands Perrin's weaknesses. Mm-hmm. She understands who he is and who she married, right? This is the strength of their marriage. He unfortunately does not understand her, and I think that's the problem.
He does not.
He does not understand her. He loves her.
Yes.
He does
you would
not
think he would understand her. Because he has boundless insight into her moods at any given time.
Which is wild to me. I just don't believe he's that incompetent. I just believe that he will fix himself this book. I just think so. Because Perrin, in a large way, reminds me of you. Granted, Fail does not communicate well either. But here's the thing. This is the strength of their marriage. Fail understands who she married. She gets it. She knows how he works. She knows what he's good at. And she understands that, like, sometimes, and this is true in marriage, there are things that your spouse just cannot do and will never do, never be good at, right? And that's just true of all people.
Yeah.
We will work to improve, but there are just things where you're like, this is a me job.
Yeah.
And that's just, and hopefully that balances out with the things that you're bad at and they're good at.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I am not going to be the spreadsheet gal.
No.
Ever.
That's my bag.
You're the budget guy. You're the spreadsheet guy. That is your area. Dog training, that's me.
Yes. Almost anything involving animals, that's you.
That's me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's these differences in our personalities and our abilities. Making appointments, that's
me.
That's me.
That's either, well, that goes back. Anyway, not to get too much into this.
But
that
anyway,
goes back and forth.
Honestly, we make appointments for each other.
We actually
it's
true.
like if you have appointments, I make them. And if I have appointments, you make them. Yeah, that's like a whole thing.
We do need to get through the rest of the bingo sheet. Just you know.
I just need to give Fail some more.
Oh, I love this part.
And yes. I will continue to do so. I love her. This is the best version of her possible. Yes, and to this. And I want more of this energy going forward with how the female characters are handled. Because this is what I want from the maidens. The Chafail just taking these people out.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Pretty cool.
Like, this is what, if Rand let the maidens do anything, these are the moments.
Yeah.
This is Fail in the Battle of the Two Rivers. Her best self. I love this for her. I want more of this for her.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we were here.
Okay.
Speaking
Tenobia
of Fail,
dies.
Yeah, Tenobia dies.
I just have an inkling that all of them are going to become, it's going to be the Narnia thing where all of them become royalty by the end.
Well,
the ones who survive.
3 of them already are.
Well, let's see. Rand?
Rand is king of Ilion.
Egwene.
Egwene is nothing.
She's on Merlin's seat.
She's on Merlin's seat, but I guess that's above royalty.
That's royalty.
So 4 of them.
Okay, yeah. Egwene, Elaine, and Matt.
Nynaeve.
And Nynaeve.
Nynaeve,
they
Elaine,
all are, except for Perrin.
Everyone except Perrin.
Yeah, I just
royalty.
don't believe that Perrin will be left out.
Perrin is married to, what is she? 4th in line for the throne?
Lots can happen.
Because I think Tenobia would have to die. Davram, it would go to Davram next.
And Fail coincidentally has no siblings.
Tenobia. Her siblings died.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So none of them are ahead of her in the line of succession.
Yeah.
So coincidentally, she has no siblings.
Because it's not patriarchal primogeniture.
No. So
male primogeniture.
Which I agree with.
Yeah.
So it goes Tenobia dies, then it would go Davram, right? And then it'd be Fail.
Dira, I think. Davram, Dira, Fail.
Would it be Dira?
I think it would be Dira.
Does that happen?
I don't know. I think maybe, whatever.
Well, she's either 3rd or 4th in line.
She's up there.
So, and I don't think it will take much to make it so that she is, unfortunately, I don't want Diamond Balls Bashir to die,
No.
but I do think that Diamond Balls Bashir will probably go down swinging at some point.
Well, if Perrin becomes a king, then Davram has to die.
Davram has to die.
Unless he's king of the wolves.
Well,
but that doesn't really
they do call
vibe
him
with
the
how...
Wolf King, but
But the wolves are like, that's fucking stupid,
well,
bro.
the broken crown is part of his
It is,
whole
yes.
thing.
Yes. Trees
like,
flowering all around
That
him.
could be Fael.
Could be.
There's just Fael and her relationship to Zenobia, but I just don't think so. And Zenobia, coincidentally, has no children.
She does not. She's not married.
I know.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's not that hard to get there. And we have her on the board.
We do.
She hasn't done anything in a hot minute, but we have her on the board.
Remember in Book 8 when they all showed up and were like, here's our ominous meeting of ominous things. Let's all promise to remember how ominous it is. And that was
And
3
now we've
books
been
ago.
ominously sitting in the woods.
It was the beginning of Book 8, and it was
know.
9, 10, 11.
I just feel like that's got to start paying off. Galad and Morgaze reunion.
It helped Elaine.
I want Galad and Morgaze to have a reunion.
I want them to hug.
I need them to hug so bad.
Yeah.
I need, because here's the thing. I'm trying to figure out like the feminist way to say this. But there is something very meaningful to plot lines in which a man goes out of his way to seek vengeance for something that was done to a woman.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out...
You're trying to exempt from this statement plot lines where a woman's agency is put away and the focus is that a bad thing happened to a woman I care about. I, as the man, am going to do stuff. Because that's different.
Yes, it is different. And it's such a thin line because it's like, it's this thing of like, when something like that happens, right? And I think this is the point of that. When something like that happens, there is this instinct to kind of like turtle yourself from men. And that's unfair, but also fair, right? And there are moments that come later where you are kind of reminded, not in like Twitter comments where it's like, not all men. We know that intellectually, but it's those emotionally, like when you emotionally realize like there are still good men in this world doing the work, doing good things, being good people.
Yeah, I get it.
And it's like, that is true.
You're saying it's nice when... Yes, I understand what you're saying.
When men go to bat for women,
Yes.
It is nice. When they do it not for character development
and not in a
reasons,
way of like, look at how cool I am.
they do it because they love that person.
Yeah.
It's the
And not in a, I'm going to make this about me way.
yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like Galad wasn't doing it to develop his own character. Galad was doing it because he was defending his mother. And Morgaze, I would have totally been down. And probably even more down if Morgaze had killed Aemon Valda herself.
That would have been great.
But there is something meaningful to the reminder, too, that there are like good men in the world who want to protect and defend women.
Yeah.
And as they should. You would hope, right, that the men in your life would go out of their way to take care of you in the event that that happens.
Yeah.
And what's hard is that sometimes that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So now, I'm not saying kill them.
No.
That Wheel Takes is not saying kill people.
No.
But, just that level of care.
Well, and the other thing about this is that Morgaze also has remained a human being with plot and agency throughout all of this.
I mean, I have my qualms.
Yes, I know.
But
I agree. But she hasn't just been like, I'm weeping in a corner.
Yes.
She's
Yeah, for the most part. And, if she wanted to weep in a corner and all that stuff, there's ways to write that in a way where I am like, yes, she's still a full person. I just appreciate that that moment didn't feel like Galad character development. It felt like Galad was wanting to do the right thing for his mom.
Yeah.
And it's that whole thing with like in The Last of Us, right? Spoilers for The Last of Us.
The game should move. The first one.
The season. Season 1.
How big are the spoilers? Super big? I'm assuming it's like the end?
Decently.
Okay, so you're warned.
Okay, so skip ahead if you don't want to hear spoilers for The Last of Us. But like that scene in which like Ellie escapes that guy, that horrible, creepy guy.
Yeah.
And like he doesn't even save her. Like the expectation, right? This is to me one of the most brilliant things. He doesn't save her.
Joel
as the
doesn't save her,
expectation
yeah.
is she saves herself.
Yeah.
but then he just holds her and says, "It's okay, baby girl."
Yeah.
Like that is kind of what we all want. We want the "it's okay, baby girl."
Got it.
That's what we all want. We want somebody in our lives that like is a good man in our lives who
supportive
gives a
and
shit.
doesn't make it about himself.
Well, the other one that I'm thinking of, spoilers for fucking Roseanne, but that was a show that was out a long time ago.
Yeah.
But like Jackie gets beaten the shit out of by her boyfriend, husband.
Oh, yeah. I
whatever.
remember this scene. It's a good
And
scene.
this is my favorite scene in that show. Listen, I was devastated when Roseanne turned out to be a fuckhead. But here's the thing. So, you know, Jackie's crying to Roseanne, and Dan comes in and is like, "She okay?" And she says, "So Fisher beat the shit out of her." And this is imprinted in my brain forever. He doesn't make a big deal out of it. He doesn't do anything. She takes Jackie upstairs. So Jackie's taken care of. She's being taken care of. She's okay. Like, and it's still about Jackie's character development, right? At the end of the day. But Dan just walks to the door very slowly and just grabs his jacket and leaves. And you just know you're like, he's got it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it would have been fine if Jackie had it.
Yeah.
Right? But it's nice. It's nice to see men put themselves out there and care
Well, and
for
as I
women.
recall, that's John Goodman, right?
Yeah.
John Goodman's character also checks in with the woman and makes sure she's okay before anything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not, and the focus is not on Dan.
No.
The focus is on, the like brilliant thing about it is this, the focus is on Jackie until Jackie leaves the room.
Yeah.
Jackie is important, that one there, until she leaves the room, and then Dan takes action.
Now we are
that's fucking sick.
40 minutes in and we're not done.
I'm sorry, I have a lot to say.
I'm into it. It's fine.
Okay. But anyway, so that's the brilliance of those two shows and why I think Gallet and Borges need to have a reunion. Just for me, I'm going to cry if that happens. Cry bitter, lovely tears. Okay. Swan and Gareth kiss. That's the other one I pulled forward from the last one. I have my issues with their relationship, much like with Perrin and Fayoul.
But you think they might kiss?
Unlike Talonvor and Borges, I am slightly more willing to believe that there is a resolution to this story that I would maybe like.
Sure.
Because I've had moments with both characters where I've really liked them.
Yeah.
So I'm more open-minded about this one than Talonvor and Borges because Talonvor, here's the thing about Talonvor that I don't like. Everything's about Talonvor.
Yes.
It's the opposite of the Gallad thing. Gallad, it was about Morghese and about getting justice. For Talonvor, it was like, I want Morghese back because I like Morghese.
And I'm such a good
And
guardsman.
I'm such a good guy.
I'm swearing oaths to my in the back rooms and all this other stuff. Yeah.
It's weird that Gallad to me is like, I'm like, that's a man doing the work when he's a white cloak.
That is funny.
Of all fucking things. But I'm like, you know what? God, I've come full circle on this. Holy shit. Oh, do I have a crush on Gallad?
I sometimes have a little bit.
Oh, no.
Here's the weird thing about Gallad.
Well, because he's
and
lawful
Gawain.
good like you are.
Yeah, here's the weird thing about Gallad and Gawain. You think they're going to be one way, then they're really fucking not.
It's very confusing. I need him to change the White Cloaks, though.
That would be
If he
good.
changes the White Cloaks fundamentally as an organization,
Well-
then I have a huge fatty crush on Gallad.
He is Lord Captain Commander.
That's what I'm saying.
And as
if
we
he
have
does
established-
what I want Tuon to do,
That's what I was about to say.
then because you know what? Deconstruction and working to change the systems and defending women, but it's not about you, it's about them. That's the hottest thing men can do.
Pretty good.
That's working to change things from the inside, being aware of your privilege, using your privilege for good. This is hot man behavior. Oh no. If Gallad changes the White Cloaks, Gallad is officially the hottest character in these books.
Well, according to Robert, he is. That's why you want him and Barrelane to touch.
Well, if he changes the White Cloaks fundamentally and he fixes Barrelane, he is the hottest man that's ever existed.
Not that Barrelane. Well, there are things about Barrelane.
There are
that
things
need to
that
be
Barrelane
fixed, actually,
absolutely
yes.
need to be fixed. I love her in so many ways. I hate everything about her for like those chunk of books appointing. You all know what chunk of
Yes.
books I'm talking about. I
Yes.
hate everything about her during that period.
I'm glad she stopped doing that.
Thank God.
Just out of...
But I'm like, the time to stop doing that was like
day one.
Day one when he
Yes.
was not chill about
Yes,
it.
yes,
But yeah, I need him to fix her as well.
yes. So Swan and Gareth kiss, even though we don't necessarily like it.
I am more open-minded to it than I am about Matt and Tuon or Talonvor and Morghese because Tuon and Talonvor have done nothing to endear themselves to me. They've done no introspection.
Gareth and
Everything's about them.
Gareth and Swan are independently interesting characters.
Like Ty Lee did something to endear herself to me. This fucking prologue.
I read that and I was like, Allie's gonna like this.
Any ounce of introspection.
Ty Lee has one line where she goes, I don't know if we have to like vitriolically hate the Damani, man.
And I'm like, I'm starting to fuck with Ty Lee a little bit.
Yeah.
Eggy Anand is also, to me, one of the hottest characters in the books because, to me, that deconstruction, like, and that ability to have that introspection and, like, change in the face of new and valid information. This is why I hate fucking Gawain so much.
Yeah. Again, hold on. Sorry. I don't want to go back down the 2 on rabbit hole right now.
I know, but it's always a rabbit hole.
55
but
times. And we
all
will
that
do it again,
being
I'm
said,
sure.
I think there is an avenue for Swan and Gareth where I'm like, I don't love everything about their relationship, much like Perrin and Fayoul, but like maybe both characters have endeared themselves to me. So I'm like, there is a world in which I could see that landing.
Yeah.
Seanchan attack the White Tower.
Seems pretty likely. Especially
the
now
book
that
cover made me go,
well, now that
probably.
because you hadn't seen that book cover prior to making your sheet.
No.
Now you have.
Now I have.
So, you know.
So I'm pretty confident that's going to happen. I think that's Gwain's avenue to becoming Amerlin.
She is Amerlin, but I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm being a pedant.
White Cloaks join Rand. I think now that Galad,
Galad,
no, I disagree.
Galadidridemedrid.
No. That's an incorrect way to name a baby. But so...
Galadidridemedrid.
I don't mean to yuck anyone's yet, but...
Galadidridemedrid.
So the White Cloaks... Okay, so Galad is in charge now.
Yes.
And I think that he is going to do the hottest thing possible, I hope, and change them fundamentally.
That would be cool.
It would be the hottest thing he could do. And in which case I'd be like, why has he not won the Grinwell Cup yet? That's the only thing that makes me nervous.
Still a white cloak.
True.
Yeah.
But he could fix them. I just believe that about him. That sword scene, now I'm going to reread and it's just going to be Galad porn. Like, if that happened, I just have a thing for people. This is what I'm realizing about myself right now. I have a thing for people who go against the grain and change organizational structures. And I don't know what that says about me. Probably that I'm chaotic good.
That makes sense.
Because I'm chaotic good. And if he is a lawful good man who's like, you know what, the lawful is actually like a personal morality that I have discovered, that will be hot. All right. White Cloaks joining. Okay, I already did that. Lan takes Malkir.
Could be. He's on his way,
I feel like it might be early.
Yeah, well.
But
I do think, by the way...
we got to start wrapping stuff up.
I do think after this book, I should just let you bring stuff forward.
Okay.
Because we're in the end game now.
Yeah. And there's only so much that can happen.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot that can happen, but you know.
One thing you should know now that you've made your sheet is these two books are a little bit Feast for Crows, Dance with Dragons.
What does that mean?
In that they are split kind of geographically.
Okay.
So it's not that you don't see all the characters. You see most characters in both books, but like Gathering Storm focuses more on A, B, and C character, and Towers of Midnight focuses more on D, E, and F characters.
Okay.
So they still show up in both books, but
okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm down.
Yeah.
All right, now at 50 minutes in, do you want to talk about?
You have 2 left.
Oh my God, Golam and Matt face off, so they're gonna have a battle, I think, and then Borderlanders meet with Rand. We good?
Self-explanatory.
God, finally.
We're going to take one more ad break, and then we're going to talk about the fucking foreword. Welcome back. Allie, there's a foreword.
They know what we're like, you know?
There's a foreword in this book.
There is.
You read this?
Yes.
What'd you think?
It was nice.
It's sweet, isn't it? What's the long and the short of it?
Nobody can compare to Robert Jordan, but I'll do my best.
Yeah, it's really sweet, Brandon.
I agree with putting this in there.
Yeah.
And it makes me really like Brandon.
He says, I cannot replace Robert Jordan. Nobody could write this book as well as he could have. That is a simple fact. Fortunately, he left many notes, outlines, completed scenes, and dictated explanations with his wife and assistants. Before his passing, he asked Harriet to find someone to complete the series for his fans. He loved you all very much and spent the very last weeks of his life dictating events for the final volume. And then he talks a little bit about splitting it up and why he had to split it up and how he chose to split it up.
I feel like this would be the most stressful task in the world.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of trying to finish, I'm trying to think of like, because it's a hero of Brandon's too, right? Like,
Yeah.
Because part of the reason why she picked him was because he wrote a very lovely.
He wrote a little
eulogy thing.
It was like a tribute on his website.
Yeah.
And I think in the tribute, one of the things he said, if anybody is picked to finish this, I certainly don't envy them.
Well,
I think.
Yeah, truly. I mean, what a feat to try and stick the landing on when it's not your baby. It's like you're raising someone else's baby. Brandon's the dad that stepped up. He's the stepdad of the series.
Yeah.
And that's a great and difficult job. Like, they're not your biological child. I have multiple step-parents who I love dearly. And it's a difficult thing because it's like, I mean, my mom said to my stepdad at one point, she's like, who would sign up for this? Like, it's a hard thing because you're not their father. You're not their mother. But you are at the same time. You're doing all of the parent things. I have a friend who just married a man with a child and is going through, all of the delicacies that happen when you are a stepmom, right? Because you never want to step on the other mother's toes. Anyway, similarly, right? It's a similarly sensitive thing. He's the dad that stepped up.
He also says, I have not tried to imitate Mr. Jordan's style. Instead, I've adapted my style to be appropriate to the Wheel of Time. Which, having read most of the stuff Brandon Sanderson has written, that's very true. His Wheel of Time books feel very different stylistically from his other work. And I appreciate that he's not trying to mimic RJ exactly either. And then at the very end, I think it's very sweet. He says, this is not my book. It is Robert Jordan's book. And to a lesser extent, it is your book. Thank you for reading. And then the dedication for Maria Simons and Alan Romanchuk, without whom this book wouldn't have been possible. All right, the epigraph. Haven't done one of these in a minute.
I know, it was a big long one.
Ravens and crows, rats, mists and clouds, insects and corruption, strange events and odd occurrences, the ordinary twisted and strange, wonders. The dead are beginning to walk, and some see them. Others do not, but more and more, we all fear the night. These have been our days. They rain upon us beneath a dead sky, crushing us with their fury until as one we beg, let it begin.
Wow.
Journal of the Unknown Scholar. Entry for the Feast of Freya, 1000 NE. Thoughts on that? Ghosts?
Ghosts? I was also a little like, zombies?
Ghosts. It's ghosts.
It's ghosts, okay. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're talking all about all the bubbles of evil that are happening and just kind of the impending doom.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads right into, what's his face's whole thing? Feralda? The farmer.
Oh,
it kind of leads into...
Reynold Fanwar.
Yeah. Yeah, Feralda.
So we're going to pick it up with the prologue, What the Storm Means. Did you take any notes?
I did. I didn't take a lot because I was vibing so hard with this.
Yes.
And I will definitely shout out all of the places that I was vibing.
Yes.
Rand released the Damani challenge.
That would be good.
Oh my God, please. For the love of God. Please happen.
But if he releases them, he won't be able to make peace with the Seanchan.
Okay.
I should put that as a button on the soundboard.
Here's what I get.
Peace.
Here's the thing about the Seanchan.
With the Seanchan.
I think that the only solution to this, other than if we're going to have a fucking utopia afterwards that somehow includes slavery, which I hope will not happen. But like, if we're having to make peace with them right now, I think what should at least the bare minimum be said is any person that you took on this continent, you must let go.
That would be pretty sensible.
That feels
you must
like
give
a bare
them the
minimum.
Option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must let them go.
Yeah.
No, you must let them go.
I
If
agree
they were
with that.
not
No,
taken of their own free will and you
that.
broke them on purpose, you have to let them go.
That would be good.
Otherwise, hard to say. I personally, no. But I mean, I guess that would be maybe, but whatever. If we must. And then 2-1 changes everything, I hope. Anyway, we'll see. Am I going to be in the head of every fucking Seanchan? Like
Couple.
2 Seanchan in a row. I was like, Jesus Christ. Well, because one of them got attacked by Trollocs. Ty Lee's groups got attacked by Trollocs. And what was the other group up to?
It's the ones who were with Semirog.
Yes. And like...
At the Semirog battle.
Semirog
battle.
Semirog
battle.
Yeah, it was very exciting. But so, and like some Dumani had been killed.
Yeah.
Sweet for the sheer genius of it. Someone was talking about battling with Perrin.
Ty Lee.
And like how great it is to battle with a man like Perrin. How sweet the genius of it is. That kind of thing. And I was like, you are aware you're talking about Perrin, right? Our Perrin.
It's less of a Perrin slander owl.
Our?
Perrin slander owl.
Perrin slander owl.
It's less of a Perrin slander hour and more of a Perrin slander lifestyle.
Listen, this is the thing that's so hard because I do love Perrin.
I do too.
I do. He's also a fucking idiot. It's hard because both things can be true. I love Matt. He's a misogynistic asshole. I love Rand. He needs therapy today.
Yep.
He's a manic depressive.
He's got a lot going on.
Rip Mishima. Brandon really said no more confusing character names.
Well, and then he said,
and then
I'll
he
get
was like,
the other one
I'm killing
too.
them both just to make sure I got the right one.
It was fun. I was talking to some folks who'd finished the books. And I said, I forgot he kills Mishima immediately. And somebody said, yep, fuck that prophet zealot asshole. And I said, no, Mishima. He also kills Mishima. He kills both of them.
Both of them.
Right off the bat.
And I'm cool with it. Both times.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, kill more Seanchan.
Get
please.
him.
But Ty Lee did endear herself to me a bit.
Yeah, because she doesn't even deconstruct. She just goes, I'm going to think critically about this.
One critical thought. Look, see what happens? They have one critical thought. And I'm like, there's nuance here. Yeah. It's just like one introspection. One thing that I'm like, okay, you're capable of growth. And then I believe in them for the remaining books. I'm like, I believe, because I'm like, here's the thing. You can't have perfect characters, right? Obviously, they have to go on a journey. Otherwise, it can't be 15 books.
No.
So they can't be perfect. And I get that. And I want that. I don't want to see perfect people. Perfect people are boring. No one wants to see hot people doing well. No one. No one gives a shit about hot people doing well.
That's why Galad's
Congratulations if you're a hot person doing well.
That's why Galad's not interesting at first.
Yes, because he's a hot guy doing well. And then all of a sudden, like, he fucks shit up and makes mistakes. And like, yes, I hate him for it, but he's interesting. And then he becomes introspective and thoughtful. And I'm like, oh, finally, like, you're doing the thing. You're being what I need you to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's capable. And then I'm like, now I believe in him. Now I might have a crush on him even.
Weird.
And I'm like, Aegyanan, same deal. Is she perfect? Has she changed completely? No, but I have a crush on her because she is changing.
Yep.
I want to see people capable of thought and change.
Yep. Do you have more notes? I think you have one or two.
Oh, damn. We haven't seen Trollocs in a hot minute.
They attacked the manor house.
What manor house?
Death Gates, Loyal's wedding.
Yes. Yeah. I got distracted by Loyal's wedding. I'm going to be honest.
To be honest, that is the part of that I remember.
That's the part of that chapter that I latched onto.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it so badly.
It's a cool battle.
I just think they're so cute together.
Luce Theron is like, maybe I should fucking blow up. And Rand is like, please don't.
Please don't. And everyone was like, please don't. Grendel, yes.
She,
Okay. Here's the thing. I either need them. This is what it is. All right. I need them either to be like flawed and introspective, but like, clearly capable of change because they're like, I'm going to think about what's being said to me. Even if I don't immediately do it or agree, I'm clearly thinking about it or being informed by it, whatever, as long as that information seems accurate and is, clear. Because obviously we can't believe everything we see in here.
No.
But like, if there's like good evidence to support stuff, you go like, well, maybe I'll factor that into my equation or maybe I'll try and see people as people, whatever. Or, because that's my good guys. I need my good guys to at least be capable of change. Like just little small things where I'm like, oh, there's a heart in there that's beating and like there's a brain in that head and they're thinking and they're trying and they're doing their best. And we'll drag them when they fuck it up, but they're doing their best.
Yeah.
Versus, or I need them to be unapologetically awful.
Yeah.
And there's no in between for me. I need them to be the worst people in the world.
That's why the Forsaken.
And they don't give a fuck about being the worst person in the world. But
so much fun to
What
read.
I can't do is have the worst person in the world go, but I'm a good person. Then I hate them so much. It's actually like my brain explodes. Yeah. I hate them so much. It's why Umbridge is the worst character in Harry, like in terms of hatred, the most hated character in all of the Harry Potter books. Yeah. It's because she thinks she's a good person. She does. She thinks she's a good person, or at least she presents herself as if she thinks she's a good person. And I can't stand that shit.
Yep.
I can't stand it. It makes me hate them. I can't stand it. If you're going to be a shitty person, have the decency to know you're a shitty person. And that's what Grendel does.
It's the beginning of a Wheel of Time book. How's it start?
A wind. No, the Wheel of Time fades.
Is that how the prologue starts?
No.
Yeah, that's how chapter 1 starts. The prologue just starts.
Sorry, I just hit you with my sweatshirt. But sorry.
It's okay.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Sorry. That was an instinct because he does this to me every fucking time. And I realized that and I hate him for it.
I do. Prologue, what the storm means. Reynold Fanwar sat on his porch, warming the sturdy black oak chair crafted for him by his grandson 2 years before. He stared northward at the black and silver clouds. He'd never seen their like before. They blanketed the entire horizon to the north, high in the sky. They weren't gray. They were black and silver. Dark, rumbling thunderheads, as dark as a root cellar at midnight, with striking silver light breaking between them. Flashes of lightning that gave off no sound. Reynold Fanwar, everybody.
I like him.
Here we have him. Fun thing, I read this section initially, way back in the day, and I went, wow, this writing style is so different. And then later I learned, apparently this entire fucking part with this farmer, 100% lifted directly out of Robert Jordan's nose.
I believe that. Yeah. I really like this writing. This whole prologue was really fun to read.
Yeah.
Both Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson put their all into this prologue,
they did.
And I really appreciate it. I identify with Reynold Fanwar.
I love Reynold Fanwar.
Because I have said to you many times, if things ever get too real around these parts,
well,
my family has a proud history of leaving when things get fucked up.
Is Reynold Fanwar running away?
Running toward?
He's running to war.
Oh, I'd be running the opposite way. My bad. I'd be like, peace. I'm out of here.
So Reynold what? Give me the gist. What happens here?
So Reynold, he's kind of hanging out, like looking at the sky,
watching
worried
the murder
about
clouds.
Stuff. He's got a wife with 0 consonants in her name.
Oh yeah, it's like Oan or something.
Ian. I was like, oh my god, I would like to buy a consonant.
Owain. Auaine.
Yeah.
Owain. Yeah, so Reynolds watching the murder storm. What is the murder storm, Allie?
Probably a bubble of evil?
It's a metaphor for the last battle.
The last battle.
Yes.
And so then this guy Thorin?
Yeah, I think, probably not Thorin. Thulin. Sulin, but
Thulin, I was close.
But with front teeth knocked out.
I was close. No, I wasn't. But, Thulin comes up and he's like, we're out of here. Like, the last battle's coming.
Are we out of here?
Well, they're out of here insofar as they're like, we're going to go fight.
Yep.
Like, the end days are here. Now, I don't blame Reynolds for being like, at first, like, that sounds like some, doomsday prepper shit.
Yeah.
But
he's like, bro, look at the fucking
those
sky.
Those clouds are fucking crazy. Yeah. So, not crazy.
You know what I mean, yeah.
Outrageous. They're outrageous. So he looks at that and he goes, okay, I think we gotta go. And the wife comes to the door and she's like, oh, they left eggs for us. Oh, that's so sweet. La da da da. And he goes, we're out of here. We gotta go fight in the last battle. And she drops her eggs.
Yeah, so Thulin comes with his wagon and all of his shit.
And he instructs him on how to make swords out of farm equipment.
Swords out of plowshares, yes.
Yeah.
Which I think counts as the author did research moment.
I do actually. I was going to ask if that counted as the author did research moment.
So Thulin was getting on. He hadn't seen as many years as Reynold, but the last few years had prompted Thulin to start speaking of retirement. Smithing wasn't an old man's trade. Of course, neither was farming. And so Thulin comes up and he just walks up to Reynold and he goes, I buried my best anvil in Galana's old strawberry patch, Reynold. You remember where that is, don't you? I packed my best set of tools there as well. They're dry, they're well greased, and inside my best chest, lined to keep it dry.
That should keep the rust off of them for a time at least. And he's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? What are
It's the
you
end days,
talking
baby.
about?
We're out of here.
If I don't return, Thulin said, glancing northward, would you dig my things out and see they're cared for? Sell them to someone who cares, Reynold. I wouldn't have just anyone beating that anvil. Took me 20 years to gather those tools, you know. But Thulin, Reynolds sputtered, where you going? Thulin turned back to him. There's a storm coming, he said, and so I figure I gotta head on to the north. Storm? That one on the horizon, you mean? Thulin, it looks bad. Burn my bones, but it does, but there's no use running from it. We've had bad storms before. Not like this, old friend. This ain't the sort of storm you ignore.
So, I like that. They give him pots and pans and eggs and stuff, and...
That's me. Pots of pans.
Hey, yeah. And he goes, but
Where you going, Galana? North, my friend. There'll be an army gathering, I figure. They'll need smiths.
and he's like, well, hey, maybe we can play Go and talk about this.
I do want to inform everyone that I have found out that I have
Oh,
pots.
yeah, fun fact.
I have pots.
Yay.
We're figuring out what that means and how to deal with it. And I also have
Postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome.
yes,
Something
like
that.
that. But and I am a pansexual, so I realized I'm pots and pans.
Pots and pans.
It makes me so happy.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was like, you should start a podcast. And I was like,
I
have one.
You might want to come north too, Reynold. If you do, bring everything you can.
And then he tells him how to build weapons out of scythes.
How do you know there'll be an army? Thulin burned me, I'm no soldier.
And then he keeps talking about weapons, and it's very cool.
And the author absolutely did
Did some research.
You told me that that was a free space, practically a free space. And I was like, but I haven't
take
used
it,
it
it's
yet.
fine,
I
yeah.
haven't used it.
I'm sorry to be so abrupt. Well, you know how I am with words, Reynold. I don't know what that storm is, but I know what it means. I've never held a sword, but my father fought in the Aiel War. I'm a borderlander, and that storm means the end is coming, Reynold. We need to be there when it arrives. Life preserve us, my friend, we need to be there.
And off he goes, and his wife comes out and is like, holy shit, we have like 50 eggs.
That'd be me.
Yeah.
I'd come out and be like, oh, eggs, sick. You'd be
And-
like, we're going to war. And I'd be like, oh, what?
Yeah. So as you said,
I just was psyched about the eggs. Yeah, I think, it's kind of emotional. It's like, it's that thing of like, you'd like to think that this would be you.
yeah.
That like, if you knew something was coming, that, for all that I joke about, I'd be out of there.
Yeah.
Like, you'd like to think
You'd be the one to
that
face it
you'd
on
be
your feet
somebody
and all
to,
that.
face it on your feet. And so it's like kind of emotional because it's like these everyday people.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this
Right?
section.
Who you get to see. I mean, they talk about in my religion class when I was in high school because I went to Catholic school.
Did you go to
I know I
Catholic
didn't go to
school?
Catholic school, but my religion teacher, who was super cool and I loved her, she had this poster on her wall that I think about a lot, where she said, "The first casualty of war is innocence."
Yeah.
And it's like you don't realize with these conflicts and stuff that oftentimes it's the civilians that really suffer the most and get caught up the most in these conflicts that are decided upon and waged by, people in power who often won't see the consequences of those decisions, Like, it's not like we have this thing anymore. I mean, thinking about Vietnam, it's not like the president goes over and leads the army.
Right.
We don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Which there's a certain extent to which I'm like, it's kind of too bad that there's so much removal of like the people in power from those consequences. Because I feel like if those people in power had to ride out with everybody, we might go into conflict less often.
Yup.
Maybe not, because, historically that wasn't necessarily the case, but maybe.
So they tell the farmhands that they're going to go do the thing, and they're like, what the fuck? And he's like, just trust me on this. And he starts turning his scythes into weapons. The sound of his hammer on the metal seemed louder than it should have been. It rang like pealing thunder, and the sounds blended, as if each beat of his hammer was itself a piece of the storm. The storm was coming, and he had to be ready. And then it switches.
This is so badass.
Isn't it fucking
like him
great?
just like banging that thing.
Yeah, and the thunder.
Getting ready to,
and
I mean, that's cinematic shit, Jim. Really nice.
What did we do? Brobden?
Brobden?
Branbert?
Branbert? Sandon?
Sure. So then we switch to...
We'll just make it different every time.
We switch to Phalendra. How's she?
Oh, this is who I was thinking of earlier.
Yes.
Okay, Phalendra, she's not good.
No.
No, she's one of the Suldam.
She's a Suldam.
And Rand is like, I have a message for you for Tuon. And she's like, he does not know anything about our society because I am nowhere near important enough to talk to Tuon, which I think is kind of too bad as a structural thing. I'm like, the people in power should have to talk to everybody because otherwise they're only getting so many perspectives.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Before we continue, we're actually going to take one more ad break. We'll be right back. Welcome back.
But yeah, she's doing poorly. But she's like, I'm not going to explain this to this guy because I feel like I'm going to throw up in his presence.
Yeah.
And she keeps seeing all these people coming through gateways and it freaks her out because she's like, this is impossible. And I'm like, unfortunately for you, it is not. I'm not sure if we should be showing them those weaves. Though
It's a dude. Ashaman.
Okay, then fine.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous about that.
I also was like, but yeah, it's Ashaman.
Maybe we shouldn't be showing them that. Okay, great. Then they thought about that. And she thinks about, how am I going to explain this to the whatever Damani? There's like or Suldam.
Der Suldam.
Der Suldam.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the person in charge of the Suldam?
Yes.
Okay. But she says, yeah, I'll deliver your message. And I don't think it says what the message is.
We get the gist of it. Rand talks to... I like that we're getting Rand from a third party who doesn't know him. I enjoy seeing
nice.
Rand from unfamiliar eyes.
Our boy scares people.
Not just any man. The sound of his voice stirred the pool of acid in her belly. She made herself turn to face him, made herself meet those cold, hard eyes. They changed with the angle of his head. Now blue, now gray, but always like polished gemstones. She had known many hard men, but she'd never known one hard hard enough to lose a hand and moments later take it as if he'd lost a glove. Had she ever, is a question. So
he was so hard he lost a hand.
I
hate
will
to see it happen.
deliver your message with the care it requires, my lord dragon. And Nynaeve is like, I hate this fucking place, dude. He's like Seanchan all over the place and shit.
So team Nynaeve in this chapter. Like, tell it like it is, girl. First of all, it's stupid for them. They have concussions. She wants to heal them.
And they're all like, absolutely the fuck not.
And I guess you have a right to refuse medical care.
Yeah.
But it is stupid. And then he just lets the Damani continue on their merry fucking way. And
the road to Abu Dar lies about an hour east of here. You can reach the city by nightfall if you press. The shields on the Damani will evaporate in about half an hour. Is that right for the Sidar woven shields, Nynaeve? Is that right, Nynaeve? Half an hour. But none of this is right, Rand al'Thor. Sending those Damani back, it isn't right, and you know it.
So the shields are different? Guys.
Sorry.
Wow.
I had to unmute for a second.
Boo.
All right. There we go.
Okay.
It's just they tied off Sidar and Sidene shields.
No, but it's like a different amount of time.
He's making sure that they tied them off the same.
Okay.
Yeah. He goes, right was easy to find when all I had to care for was a few sheep. Nowadays, sometimes it's harder to come
find.
by.
No, it's easy to find in this one, honey.
He's concerned that why doesn't he want to let the Damani go?
I don't know.
There's a few reasons. One, most of them
problem?
would probably scream and cry and beg to be taken back.
Well,
because they're brainwashed.
That's stupid.
Two, if he releases the Damani, he's going to piss off the Daughter of the Nine Moons.
Good.
And he wants to do what? He wants to make, how do we say it? Peace with the Seanchan.
I hate it. At the expense of all of these women in this continent. But why are we just cool with that? I just don't.
Because they have a big fucking army, and there's baddies
at
coming.
Minimum, they should release the women that they captured on this continent.
Repeat your instructions. I'm to return to Abu Dar with a message for our leaders there, the Daughter of the Nine Moons. You'll deliver my message to her. And she's like, I can't. I will deliver your message to her. I will tell her that you bear her no malice for this attack, and that you desire a meeting. I still desire one.
Oh, that's the message. Okay.
I will tell her that you still desire a meeting with her, that you believe there must be peace between our peoples, and I'm to tell her that Lady Anath was one of the Forsaken. And he goes, we must have peace. I will see it happen. Tell your mistress she can find me in Ered Daman. I will quell the battle against your forces there. So he's going to go to find Rodell and be like, hey man, fucking chill out. Holy shit, my man. Like, ease up. Stop killing the Seanchan so efficiently. I need to have peace with the Seanchan.
You are just mocking me at this point.
I am, it's
you
fun.
are torturing me. It's unkind.
Sorry.
I will get you back for this.
I love you.
I will absolutely get you back for this. There is no depths to which I will not plunge now to make sure that when we are reading a series that I have read and you haven't, and you hate something that is happening, I will rub it in your face constantly.
You kind of did that with Gale in The Hunger Games.
In what way?
I don't know. You brought him up a lot, and that was enough.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. So then we switched.
It was okay
to...
when I did it. You know, it's not okay when you do it.
I think that's entirely fair.
No, yeah, I do as well. I'm glad we're in agreement.
So we switch to
Tylee,
Kiergan. How's she?
the woman with the name of my sexual awakening in Avatar.
Yes. How's she doing?
She's doing badly.
Well,
no, she's happy because she's like,
all right
we did
first.
a good little fight with Perrin, la da 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 da, and then all of a sudden an arrow goes through Mashima's neck.
Mishima, yeah.
Mishima, sorry, Jesus Christ, it's difficult.
It's very, very sensible sort of differentiation. So yeah, she's hanging out. Tylee Kiergan, Lieutenant General of the ever-victorious army, sat her horse atop a forested hilltop looking northward. Such a different place this land was. Her homeland, Maram Kashor, was a dry island on the very southeastern tip of Seanchan. The luma trees there were straight, towering We're straight, towering monsters with fronds sprouting from the top.
You doing okay?
Like the hair crest of a member of the High Blood. No, apparently I'm dying. Ah!
Gus, I swear to Christ.
It's off.
I feel like this is the one in which
What we had to pause just now because there was noise. What were we literally just talking about?
Tylee. Okay, so then Mishima ends up with an arrow in his neck.
He gets got.
He gets got real good.
How does he get got?
Trollocs.
Trollocs got.
We haven't seen Trollocs in a minute, except for that one. Mm-hmm. But like, I feel like we haven't, because the Trollocs, we saw them, but did we really see them? Do you know what I mean?
They just showed up and got wasted.
Yeah, like we haven't seen the Trollocs be actually effective in a minute.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Well, here's the thing.
Like
when you're
these were effective Trollocs.
Yeah, when you're
we
on book
haven't
12.
seen Trollocs be effective since like the Battle of the Two Rifts. Like where
much,
they felt like
yeah.
a really, really, really
book
real
5,
threat.
Book 5 is mostly men versus men.
Uh-huh.
Book 6 is Demise Wells.
Yep.
Book
Which
7
is more of men versus men.
is mostly men versus men. There's some Trollocs.
Men and women.
Yes.
Excuse me. And non-binary folk.
Well, not if Rand has anything to say about it. There are no women there. But
Don't get me started.
8 is mostly people versus people. 9 is Forsaken versus people. Mm-hmm. 10 is Perrin's axe versus Aiel's hand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't really seen Trollocs as like
a real palpable threat
opposing force in a while.
in a minute. Yeah, because I feel like
Individually,
in the
yeah.
Deathgate thing, they were like kind of largely cannon fodder.
Well, like they sent like 100,000 or something like that.
Yeah, like we haven't seen Trollocs be actually effective.
Yeah, so they're chatting. They're gabbing about, hey, Perrin, that guy's pretty cool. You know, that was a fun time. He's real good dude.
Well,
like
it
him.
also makes sense why they were effective against this group because they haven't seen them before.
Yeah, and they barely believe they exist.
Exactly. So it's like all of a sudden the boogeyman comes and chops up your face.
It had been 2 weeks since her fight with the Aiel, where Perrin Ibarra's plan had worked impressively. Fighting alongside a man like him was always a bittersweet experience. Sweet for the sheer genius of it, bitter for the worry that one day they would face each other on the battlefield. So they're mulling and pondering and mulling
The sheer
and pondering.
genius of folks who go, wait a minute, what if we learned from our mistakes?
They talk about how things are all fucky and everything's weird. And he goes, it's southern, right? Few things make sense on this side of the ocean. Trees that don't bud in spring, that's just another oddity. Better that than more Marath Damani acting like they were the blood, everyone bowing and scraping to them. He shuddered visibly. Tylee nodded, but she didn't share his revulsion, not completely. She wasn't certain what to think of Perrin Ibarra and his Aes Sedai, let alone his Ashaman. I like that she's at least like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just a little tiny bit.
This is the thing, is she's just like, I'm interested in these people.
Yeah.
And I'm having pleasant experiences with them. Maybe I should examine that.
And she thinks to herself, we can't afford to be fighting these people. It was a rebellious thought, one she wouldn't speak to Mishima. She didn't dare ponder it.
But it's a thought.
Mm-hmm. None of
She's
them
having thoughts.
None of them would listen to suggestions that they should be looking for allies among the people of this land rather than enemies. Thinking about it was close to treason, insubordination at least. She sighed and turned to Mishima.
Well, I mean, your whole queen is, getting allied in the sheets, if you know what I mean.
What?
But she's hooking up with Matt.
Oh, yeah. Got it. That's funny. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Was it?
Yes.
I know. My brain's a little loopy today.
And then Mishima gets fucking killed and immediately dies.
Right with the arrow through the neck.
And there's an ambush, and they're like, what is going on here? I'm going to fight these dudes. And then she goes, wait a minute.
Tylee's kind of cool.
She saw just what he was, the man that attacked her. Not quite a man. Instead, some creature with twisted features, the head covered in coarse brown hair, the too wide forehead wrinkled with thick skin. Those eyes were disturbingly human-like, but the nose below was flattened like that of a boar, and the mouth jutted with two prominent tusks.
That would be so fucking freaky if you were not expecting that.
The creature roared at her, spittle spraying from its nearly human lips. Blood of my fathers forgotten, she thought. What have we stumbled into? The monster was a nightmare given a body and let loose to kill. It was a thing she had always dismissed as superstition. And then hundreds of Trollocs attack them, and they're very close to Abu Dar, and Tylee charged down the hillside, bellowing for her honor guard as more of the beasts roared out of the trees.
How did they
her.
get there? Was there just a way gate that wasn't shut, or a gateway or whatever?
Could be Waygate. Could be that they snicker snuck, but probably a Waygate.
I'm thinking if there were that many of them all at once.
Probably they missed a Waygate.
Did they miss one?
Or they haven't gotten there yet. I don't know. Anyway, then we go to Grendel. How's she?
She's doing okay.
She's all right.
She's got her, people.
Yeah. What's
her
this?
pets.
What's this whole
which
section?
Which is not great,
no.
of course. But she is not looking to be a good person. So it's like,
No.
Then, it is what it is. Bad people are going to bad people. I like this line. These Damani were too fond of whispering when Grendel preferred a nice sharp scream when it comes to the way she's dressing versus the Damani. Mm-hmm. I think it's so funny. Mm-hmm. I like that line. And I was like, there was a part of me that was like, good for her. And then she gets called by Moradin. And she goes and she's allowed to see him talking to Damon Dread and Masana about Semirog.
Yes.
And they're insisting that they should go rescue her.
Yes.
And Moradin's like, nah, that's her punishment for failure. And also her punishment for trying to kill Rand al'Thor when she was explicitly told not to. And Damon Dread's all like, I'm the one who gets to kill Rand al'Thor. She should have known that.
And we're all yes, we know you want to fuck him. We know.
And Moradin's like,
oh my God.
I know. And Moradin's like, no, you're not the one who's going to kill and or fuck him. It could be you.
I will do both.
Or I will skull fuck Rand al'Thor. No, so...
They should kiss.
But no, he's like, or the Great Lord will kill him, not you.
Yeah.
Like, you're not the only one who has dibs, and you should know your fucking place. So he kind of dismisses the group, and then he talks to Grendel. Mm-hmm. Is there anything in there you want to read before I move on?
There's another bit. Grendel thinks about Damon Dread, and she's like, where the fuck is this guy? I know where everybody else is. I know what everybody else is doing. I have no idea what the fuck this guy is doing.
And that's true for me, too.
That man frustrated her, though she would never admit it out loud. Misana was in the White Tower, pretending to be one of what passed for an Aes Sedai in this age.
Dunno.
She was obvious and easy to read.
Dunno.
Arengar was playing with the rebel Aes Sedai, the ones who were besieging the White Tower. Moradin was gathering the Great Lord's forces for the last battle, although his two minions, Sindain and Maggedi, occasionally showed their faces there. She was certain Samael had fallen to Rand al'Thor during the struggle for Ilion. She was confident she knew the plans of every one of the other 7 remaining chosen, except Damon Dread.
It's a really good point. I don't know where the fuck he is.
She thinks, well, maybe he's with the
He might be
Borderlanders.
Master Taim. He could be with the Borderlanders.
But then she's like, but I have spies in there. I would know. She doesn't entertain that he might be involved in the Black Tower, but we did have that thing in Book 9 where...
He's definitely involved in the Black Tower.
We did have that thing in Book 9 where both Taim and Damon Dredd ordered that guy to do something.
Yeah, so they're different.
And not to tell the other.
So we know they're different people at this point. But he's definitely in charge of what's going on there, but he's not there. So then where is he? Like, the Borderlands seem like a good place for him to be, and there's not really anywhere else that's interesting right now.
Still, fool or not, he was extremely dangerous.
The only place I can think of, the only other place I'm like, maybe, is like Teliran Riyadh.
And Grendel did not like being ignorant of his plans. Where had he set up? Damon Dredd liked having armies to command, but there were none left moving in the world.
Well, the Borderlanders.
Yeah, save perhaps for those Borderlanders.
Unless he's with the Band of the Red Hand,
That
but I
would
don't
be
think so. I don't think so. I don't know. It's bothering me too.
It bothered everybody. It bothered me. Every fucking person.
He likes to work through proxies.
Proxies and to command armies, apparently.
And to command armies. But he's not doing that playbook that all the boy Forsaken did, which is like, plant myself in a city and cause problems.
Apparently not. We kind of have all the cities accounted for, don't we?
Right, so then it's like...
Yeah, he was not in Seanchan, because that was all the way on the other side of the world, but that was Semirog.
Shara exists, but we barely know anything about them.
Shara does exist.
Grendel's been there.
Grendel was... Yeah, she kidnapped the two people.
The Shabote and the whatever.
Shaboan, yeah. We don't really know anything else about Shara, except that people occasionally go there.
Yeah, and that they have an interesting culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm like, is Robert Jordan / Brandon Sanderson, are they cheating? Are they like, not cheating, but like, you know, they're going, okay, this is what you expect their playbook to be. Branbert's putting him in like Teliran Riyadh or something.
Are they gonna freak you with the okey doke?
Because then he can watch everything.
That would work. He has been there before. We've seen him popping around. But they all kind of pop around.
Yeah, but that's why I'm like, but maybe he's doing something bigger there. I don't know.
So then, yeah, they have that whole meeting, and they're like, we gotta go get her. And they're like, fuck you, you're not gonna go get her. And then they leave. Yeah, that's pretty much, I just wanted to touch on.
And then he talks to Grendel.
Yeah.
And he and he's like basically like letting you listen to that was kind of a reward for your good service.
Did you glean much from what you heard, Grendel? As much as could be gleaned. I know you crave information. Megidion's always been known as the spider, pulling strings from afar, but you are, in many ways, better at it than she. She winds so many webs that she gets caught in them. You are more careful. You strike only when wise, but are not afraid of conflict.
Like a snake.
The great lord approves of your initiative.
Grendel's a snake. Megidion's a spider, Grendel's a snake.
My dear Moradin, you flatter me. Do not toy with me, Grendel. Take your compliments and be silent. She's like, damn, shit,
Don't
sorry.
speak to my girl that way.
Fuck. What are his orders for her?
Kind of like take care of Rand.
Don't let Rand
die.
Make peace in Ered.
Oh, yes. Because she's there.
The end is near, Moradin said. The wheel has groaned its final rotation. The clock has lost its spring. The serpent heaves its final gasps. He must know pain of heart. He must know frustration. And he must know anguish. Bring these to him, and you will be rewarded. Gives me a little bit, season 2 Ishi vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She nodded, then made her way through the provided gateway back to her stronghold in the hills of Ered Daman to plot.
I kind of like that they've made Ishamael a little less
Ratback-ishy? Yeah.
A little less cartoony, a little more calculated.
Yeah.
I mean, he got one up on Lanfear.
He did. Now we're going to switch. It's Rodell. How's he doing?
He's doing good.
Rodell fucks, man. I love this guy.
I love him too. I don't believe he's straight, though.
I think he is a pansexual king.
Yeah, he is not fully, like the Kinsey scale, he is not fully a 1 or whatever.
Give me a rundown of this section. Because, like, we've seen Rodell exclusively, I think, almost exclusively in Prologue so far.
He just hangs out in the Prologue.
He just, like, shows up.
He's the king of the Prologue.
does a badass attack on a bunch of Seanchan, and then fucking leaves.
I love him for it.
I love him.
The energy is correct. I wish we did more of this. I just want to fucking kick out the Seanchan from every place ever.
And what do we have in this prologue?
I'm like, our heroes do not seem to agree with me, but I think that is the move.
What do we have in this prologue? What does he do?
He lures the Seanchan out of the city and then attacks.
Pretty much. Mm-hmm. I think
it's like there's a bunch of fake farmers in the hills.
Well, they're not. They're going to this city, and he gets them outside of the city, and then all of these fake farmers throw down their weapons, and all of these soldiers move out from inside the town because they don't have because their rack can just get a bird's eye view. So they're like, farmers, okay, farmers and a city. So yeah, I don't know, we're good. But the farmers were soldiers, and the people were in the city. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's pretty badass. And then we switch to Massima.
And they kick him out.
I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say about
the
Rodell.
Seanchan kick him out.
The Seanchan?
Or no, the Rodell kicks him out of the city. Right? Did I misread that?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
But
they attack.
I don't think
they've got like secret fake farmers.
I don't think they were ever in the city.
The Seanchan?
They were planning to take Darluna quickly.
Oh, yeah.
They're coming to conquer this city.
Yeah, but they kind of like lure him.
Yeah, he's like, oh, look, it's an undefended city because I have people hiding in it. Mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then they kick the shit out of him.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And then, anything to say about that other than it's great and he's cool?
Fucking A. Fucking A, Rodell.
We switch to Massima. How's he?
He's doing badly.
He's bad.
Which, couldn't have happened to a worse person.
I know.
Don't feel bad for him whatsoever. But he's like, why would the dragon forsake me like this? And the look inside these kinds of people's heads is just so excruciating. Because there's no self-awareness. That's why I hate Massima, too. There's no awareness. There's no reevaluating with new information. It's just double down, triple down, quadruple down, quintuple down on your stupid, bad bullshit.
Oh, speaking of the dragon, Rand, there's an interesting moment in the Grendel section that I want to touch on.
No, it's too late. You had your time.
I think it's interesting that Moradin is still adamant that nobody kill or hurt Rand al'Thor too badly. That's part of why he was so pissed off, is she blew Rand's hand off. Mm-hmm. And that was not happy. But I like this. It's cool.
Oh.
What?
Wait a minute. Look at this. Moradin looked down, flexing his left hand as if it were stiff.
Oh, yeah. That's cool, too.
What were you looking at?
I kind of this whole page. I just thought it was cool. But yeah.
No, but
seems like his hand hurts.
His hand hurts. Well, yeah, that's because they're Voldemorting. They're going to switch bodies. Trans lives matter, but they're going to switch bodies. Why else would he be hot?
I do like that logic.
It's so that they're cool with it.
There's also this. He stood against the mantle, back mostly to her. He seemed to be staring at nothing, just looking at the black stones of the far wall. Strangely, he looked a great deal like al'Thor when he stood like that.
Because they're going to switch bodies.
That's cool.
They're going to switch bodies. Because it's the only thing that makes sense that won't make me roll my eyes.
We'll have to see.
Because, no offense, but when people put the Jesus thing and then he came back into stuff, it's never satisfying to me. Because it's always like, because of the power of love. And I'm like, no, that's not how life works. I'm sorry. Like, you've lost me. Because of the power of friendship. Because, we could send, like, this part of you on the train instead of all. No, stupid. I hate it.
The prophets.
Aslan just came back just 'cause? Absolutely not.
Well, I think Aslan is supposed to literally be Jesus.
I understand. But there's, like, just a part of me that's like, no.
Sure. The prophet's fingers bit dirt, tearing trenches in the soil as he scrambled up to the top of the forested hillside. His followers straggled behind, so few, but he would rebuild. The glory of the dragon reborn followed him, and no matter where he went, he found willing souls.
Massima is the reason some women are like, choose the bear. It's like,
The prophet...
He is the poster child for choose the bear.
The prophet had been so certain he had assumed that the dragon would protect his people, lead them to a powerful victory. Then the prophet would finally have gotten his wish. He could have killed Perrin Ibarra with his own hands. Twist that too thick bull's neck in his fingers. Twist it around, squeezing, feeling the bones crack, the flesh ring, the breath stop. This guy's fun to act.
So much.
Yeah.
I
spat on the book. Oh, man, I didn't mean to do that.
You were committed to your acting. Well done.
The dragon had appeared to him the night before the attack, appeared in glory, a figure of light, glowing in the air in shimmering robes. Kill Perrin Ibarra, the dragon had commanded. Kill him! And so the prophet had sent his very best tool, Ibarra's own dear friend. What's that all about?
He's fucking out of it. He's just Looney Toonies.
Do you think that is the only thing this implies?
Wait, say it again.
The dragon had appeared to him the night before the attack. Appeared in glory, a figure of light, glowing in the air in shimmering robes.
Wait, that's shady.
Kill Perrin Ibarra.
Wait. Okay, because I thought that
is?
Was just like a hallucination, but now I'm like, wait a minute. That's a Forsaken doing that.
I bet that's Moradin. I'd bet.
But would he do that?
Yeah. Hey, kill him. I'm out.
Okay, yes.
Could also be one of the other ones.
But if his hand hurts him, then what will Rand dying do to him?
He said kill Perrin Ibarra.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Moradin.
I bet it's Moradin.
And I don't think there's... looks like Randall Thor in certain light.
Maybe he's glowing and, you can mirror of mist yourself.
Yeah, we're full angeling it. You can't look directly at me. But I'm the Dragon Reborn, and Masim is a fucking dumbass.
There's ever any explicit confirmation of this, but I'm pretty sure that's what's happening here.
I'm positive that's what's happening here.
So
wow.
Fewer than 100. So few.
The Forsaken are doing things.
His dear followers, brave men and true every one, killed by dark friends.
No.
He mourned them, bowing his head and muttering a prayer. His followers joined him.
Okay, but like 1 second he's like blaming them. He's like, they weren't faithful enough. And the next minute he's like, oh, I'm mourning them. He's all over the place. Which is so true for these kinds of people.
They were weary, but the light of zeal shone in their eyes. Any who were weak or who lacked dedication had fled or been killed long ago. These were the best, the mightiest, the most faithful. Each one had killed many dark friends in the name of the Dragon Reborn.
I just don't feel like they were dark friends. I really don't.
The last of his followers joined him atop the cliff face. He spat at their feet. They had failed him. Cowards! They should have fought better! He should have been able to win that city.
See, he's all over the place.
He turned north and pushed his way forward. This landscape was growing familiar to him, though they had nothing like it up in the borderlands. They would climb to the highlands, then cross over and enter Almuth Plain. There were dragons sworn there, followers of the Prophet, even if many didn't know of him. There he could rebuild quickly. He pushed through a patch of dark brush and entered a small clearing. His men followed quickly. They would need food soon, and he would have to send them hunting. No fires. They couldn't afford to alert. Hello, Massima, a quiet voice said.
Fucking A, get him, girl,
he hissed, spinning, his followers bunching around him and pulling out weapons. Swords for some, knives, quarterstaff, and the occasional polearm. The prophet scanned the dim afternoon clearing, searching for the one who had spoken. He found her standing on a little outcrop of rock a short distance away, a woman with a prominent Saldean nose, lightly tilted eyes, and shoulder-length black hair. She wore green, with skirts divided for riding, her arms folded in front of her. Fail Ibarra, wife of the shadow spawn, Perrin Ibarra. Take her! The prophet screamed, pointing.
And she's like, I will not be kidnapped twice.
Several of his followers scrambled forward, but
thrice, actually.
But most hesitated. They had seen what he had not. Shadows in the forest behind Ibarra's wife, a half circle of them.
Fail.
They were the shapes of men with bows pointed into the clearing.
Not men.
Fail waved with a sharp motion and the arrows flew. Those of his followers who had run at his bidding fell first, crying out in the silent forest before falling to the loamy earth. The prophet bellowed, each arrow seeming to pierce his own heart, his beloved followers, his friends, his dear brothers. An arrow slammed into him, throwing him backward to the ground. Around him, men died, just as they had earlier. Why? Why hadn't the dragon protected them? Why? Suddenly the horror of it all returned to him, the sinking terror of watching his men fall in waves, and watching them die at the hands of those dark friend Aiel. It was Perrin Ibarra's fault. If only the prophet had seen earlier, back in the early days, before he'd even recognized the Lord Dragon for who he was. It's my fault, the prophet whispered,
is your fault.
As the last of his followers died. It had taken several arrows to stop some of them. That made him proud. Slowly, he forced himself back. I'm just going to read all of this, because I love this.
Yes, but I'm just like, men, seriously.
Slowly, he forced himself back to his feet, hand to his shoulder where the shaft sprouted. He'd lost too much blood. Dizzy, he fell to his knees. Fail stepped down off her stone and entered the clearing. Two women wearing trousers followed. They looked concerned, but Fail ignored their protests that she stay back. She walked right up to the prophet, then slid her knife from her belt. It was a fine blade with a cast hilt that showed a wolf's head, that was well. Looking at it, the prophet remembered the day when he'd earned his own blade, the day his father had given it to him. "Thank you for helping to assault Malden, Massima," Fail said, stopping right in front of him. Then she reached up and rammed that knife into his heart.
Good.
He fell backward, his own blood hot on his chest.
Good.
"Sometimes a wife must do what her husband cannot," he heard Fail tell her women as his eyes fluttered, trying to close. "It is a dark thing we did this day, but necessary. Let no one speak of it to my husband. He must never know." Her voice grew distant. The prophet fell. Massima. That had been his name. He'd earned his sword on his 15th birthday. His father had been so proud. "It's over then," he thought, unable to keep his eyes open. He closed them, falling as if through an endless void. "Did I do well, father? Or did I fail?" There was no answer, and he joined with the void, tumbling into an endless sea of blackness.
This might be one of my top scenes in the whole
I
book.
fucking love this scene. I love that
It's
scene.
so good. It's so well written.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's everything I want. Because it's complicated. And, like, of course, Massima is obviously mentally incredibly unwell.
Yeah.
And that's, of course, so complicated. But he is such a danger
I get sad at the end there.
to... yes.
Yeah, you know?
Well, it's just a beautifully complicated scene.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, yeah, he's a person and he's unwell. And, like, there is no help for him. And that's really awful and unfortunate. He is also a absolute danger to everyone around him.
Yep.
And Fail he and his followers, and Fail understands that and is like, my husband is a good man and does not want to pursue to kill this group of people because that's not fair.
Yeah.
But this can't be fair because if we rely on what's fair, this is the right and wrong shit like that Rand was talking about before. But I'm like, no, this one's pretty black and white. This one is it can be complicated because pursuing a retreating group is a war crime, I believe.
Yeah, well, it's different from, because...
We're just going on who's our favorite war criminal.
Like, we gave Perrin a little bit of shit for trying to plow the retreating Aiel into these guys, but that was, kind of fair.
It was more fair
Than hunting them down and murdering them.
Yeah, but they kind of needed to be taken out.
Unfortunately.
They really did. They were a huge liability in every way. And, like, I wish that this was a time and place where Massima could get the help he needed opposed to it coming to this.
Yeah.
It ain't.
Yeah.
And Fail did what she needed to do.
Yeah.
And I think there is something really lovely in that about her and Perrin's relationship. She knows what her husband can and can't do. And she's like, this needs to be done for his safety, for my safety, for the world's safety. And so I'm going to do it so that he doesn't have to.
Yep.
And that's gorgeous. And it's like, he loves her enough that he would reciprocate that. Roland needed to be taken out too.
Yeah.
He was a bad man.
You bad dude.
She couldn't do it. So he did it for her.
Yep.
And I don't want her to feel complicated about that, but she's going to.
Well, that's the prologue. How you feeling about Gathering Storm?
I'm liking it so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it slaps so far. I'm like, we're back, baby. We're here. We're doing it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to keep reading.
Me too.
So we'll go do that.
We're so back, baby.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We have social media. If you want to know what we've got going on, it's linked down below. We also have a Patreon if you want to support us that way. It's patreon.com/wheeltakes, and you can always leave us a rating and or a review, which helps a lot. This has been episode 215 of the main book series of Wheel Takes. Other than that, anything else, Allie?
Massima, you later.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.